In today's episode, we're looking at 5 people who tragically lost their lives after getting too close to dangerous animals for selfies. From a student wading into Florida's alligator waters to a researcher attacked by humanity's closest relatives, each encounter ending suddenly and fatally, documented by wildlife authorities, showing how curiosity, overconfidence, and the lure of social media can turn deadly. First, we start in South Africa, where thrill seekers chasing viral content come face to face with the ocean's apex predator, the great white shark, proving that even controlled settings can become instantly lethal. It was March 15, 2014, when the golden African sun cast long shadows across Kruger National Park in South Africa. The dry season had turned the landscape into yellowed grass and scattered acacia trees, where wildlife gathered around the remaining water sources. The temperature reached 89 degrees Fahrenheit under cloudless skies, with humidity at 28%. The park, spanning nearly 7,500 square miles, was one of Africa's premier wildlife destinations. 24-year-old Brooke Ellison had traveled over 8,000 miles from San Diego, California, carrying only a backpack, her smartphone, and dreams of social media stardom. Brooke worked part-time at a coffee shop while building her travel blog and TikTok account, which had recently reached 3,000 followers. Her willingness to take risks for the perfect shot had begun attracting attention online. She had saved for months to afford this 5-day photography safari, seeing it as her chance to create viral content. Her family had expressed concerns about her traveling alone, but Brooke dismissed their worries. She believed her generation understood the world differently, that social media had opened doors her parents couldn't comprehend. The tour group consisted of 8 tourists eager to capture Africa's Big Five: lions, leopards, rhinoceros, elephants, and Cape buffalo. Their guide, Marcus, had worked in Kruger for 17 years. He repeatedly warned the group about maintaining safe distances from wildlife, emphasizing that lions could become extremely dangerous when protecting cubs. Brooke listened with half attention, focused on planning her next post. She had already posted photos that pushed boundaries, and Marcus had specifically warned her twice about leaning out of the vehicle. Each time, Brooke smiled and nodded while mentally composing captions for content she hadn't yet captured. Adult female lions typically weigh between 265 and 395 pounds, with powerful jaw muscles capable of over 650 pounds per square inch of bite force. Their retractable claws measure up to 1.5 inches. Female lions are particularly dangerous when cubs are present, responding with lethal efficiency to threats. That afternoon, the safari vehicle approached a pride resting under a large marula tree. 3 adult females and 4 6-month-old cubs. Marcus positioned the vehicle at the regulation 75-foot distance. The lionesses appeared relaxed while the cubs played, displaying hunting behaviors. Brooke grew frustrated with the distance, watching through her zoom lens and calculating how many likes a close-up would generate. During a brief bathroom break, Brooke noticed the cubs playing and saw an opportunity for unique footage. While Marcus assisted an elderly tourist, Brooke quietly slipped away from the designated area. She moved toward the pride, phone recording, focused entirely on content rather than the tension in the lioness's body language. The dry grass crunched beneath her feet as she advanced. The closest female, a mature lioness with distinctive scars, detected Brooke immediately. At 30 feet, the lioness rose to her feet, positioning herself between her cubs and the perceived threat. Her tail twitched rapidly, a clear warning sign that Brooke ignored. The other 2 lionesses also rose, maintaining positions near the cubs. When Brooke raised her phone for a selfie, she made direct eye contact with the protective mother. In lion behavior, sustained eye contact is a direct challenge. The lioness lowered her head, flattened her ears, and growled. Brooke misinterpreted the sound, continuing to adjust her angle for lighting. The cubs had stopped playing, instinctively aware that something had changed. The attack came with explosive speed. The approximately 350-pound lioness launched herself forward, covering 25 feet in under 2 seconds. Brooke had no time to react before the lioness collided with her upper torso. Her phone flew from her grasp, the last image captured showing the lioness mid-leap with claws extended ended. The impact was devastating. The lioness's front paws struck Brooks' chest and shoulders, causing blunt trauma and fractured ribs. Multiple swipes and bites tore clothing and flesh. The lioness's claws, each about 1.5 inches long, raked across Brooks' torso, severing small blood vessels and causing significant hemorrhaging. She then delivered a bite to Brooks' neck, puncturing a major blood vessel. Rapid blood loss, airway compromise, and shock overwhelmed her system, and Brooke lost consciousness within minutes. Death followed swiftly. The lioness, having neutralized the threat, returned to her cubs. The other two lionesses gathered the cubs and moved them toward thicker brush. Marcus and the tourists arrived minutes later, finding Brooke approximately 40 feet from the vehicle. Her phone lay nearby with the cracked screen displaying the last image she captured. Authorities later confirmed the footage was withheld from the public and destroyed out of respect for her family. Park authorities reviewed safety protocols and interviewed witnesses. Rangers located the Pride about a mile from the attack site and confirmed the cubs' presence, validating the defensive nature of the attack. The lioness and Pride were not relocated. Brooks' family requested privacy while mourning her death. The incident prompted renewed safety briefings for safari operators, emphasizing the dangers posed by lions with cubs. Brooks' social media accounts remained active for months, receiving memorial comments from followers who admired her adventurous spirit. Her final, unposted image became evidence in the investigation, a haunting reminder of how close she had come to achieving her goal. Brooke Ellison's story is a tragic reminder of how maternal instincts can turn deadly when crossed by human recklessness. For Jenna Hollister, it wasn't the African savanna calling, but the Florida Everglades, where ancient predators lurk beneath, waiting to strike. It was August 23, 2015, when the oppressive Florida heat hung thick over the vast wetlands of Everglades National Park. The summer sun blazed overhead, creating a shimmering haze across the endless sawgrass marshes and cypress swamps. The temperature reached 94 degrees Fahrenheit, with humidity at 88%, making conditions suffocating for visitors unaccustomed to subtropical climates. 21-year-old Jenna Hollister had driven down from Tallahassee with 5 sorority sisters, their SUV packed with coolers, cameras, and dreams of creating ultimate spring break content. Jenna was a junior studying marketing while working part-time at a campus retail store. Her competitive nature and willingness to push boundaries for the perfect shot had attracted online attention. The Everglades trip was their group's grand finale before returning to classes. The group had arrived during peak mating season for American alligators, though none had researched the significance of timing. Park rangers had briefed visitors about maintaining safe distances, especially during breeding periods when territorial behavior intensified. Jenna listened casually, more interested in scouting locations than absorbing crucial information about alligator behavior. Her friends had noticed Jenna's pattern of taking increasingly risky photos throughout the trip, each post garnering more engagement and fueling her confidence that bigger risks would yield bigger rewards. The American alligator is one of nature's most successful predators, virtually unchanged for over 200 million years. Adult males can reach lengths of 14 feet and weigh over 1,000 pounds, with jaws capable of exerting bite forces exceeding 2,980 pounds per square inch. During mating season, males become highly territorial and aggressive, defending their chosen areas with lethal force. Alligators are ambush predators, perfectly adapted for shallow wetlands. Their eyes, ears, and nostrils sit atop their heads, allowing them to remain nearly submerged while monitoring surroundings. Motionless for hours, they appear like floating logs until sudden bursts of speed propel them toward prey at up to 15 miles per hour in water. On the afternoon of August 23rd, the group discovered a secluded area where several large alligators basked along the water's edge. The largest, a massive 12-foot male, lay partially submerged near the bank. To the untrained eye, it appeared docile. Jenna immediately recognized the photo opportunity. While her friends set up a picnic on higher ground, Jenna waded into knee-deep water, positioning herself about 6 feet from the alligator's head, close enough for a selfie with the predator. The alligator had been aware of the group since their arrival. When Jenna moved closer, the reptile's predatory instincts activated. The splashing water sent vibrations that its sensitive system interpreted as prey activity. The attack came with terrifying speed. The approximately the 800-pound alligator exploded from its resting position, propelled by its powerful tail. Jenna had no time to react before its jaws clamped down on her leg with bone-crushing force, knocking her off balance into deeper water. The alligator's conical teeth penetrated deep into muscle and tissue, causing severe trauma. True to its species' hunting behavior, the reptile immediately initiated its signature death roll. Jenna was pulled underwater and spun violently, battered by the alligator's immense strength. Blood loss, repeated submersion, and trauma quickly overwhelmed her. The femur may have fractured from the rotational forces, but drowning and cumulative injuries were the primary causes of death. After the attack, the alligator dragged her body underwater and secured it beneath submerged vegetation, consistent with typical behavior of caching prey. Park rangers arrived within 20 minutes, but recovery was complicated by multiple large alligators in the area. Jenna's body was retrieved 4 hours later. State wildlife authorities launched an investigation and reviewed safety protocols. The alligator was tracked and euthanized according to standard protocol for animals involved in fatal human encounters. Any footage of the attack was withheld from the public out of respect for Jenna's family and subsequently destroyed. Jenna's family released a brief statement expressing grief and requesting privacy. Jenna Hollister's story was a brutal reminder that ancient predators show no mercy in their domain. For Victoria Langford, it wasn't swamplands calling, but Montana's mountains where apex predators rule with deadly authority. It was September 9, 2016, when the first hints of autumn colored the forests of Glacier National Park, Montana. The air was crisp at 52 degrees Fahrenheit, and the mountains stood tall against a sky streaked with early morning clouds. The park's dense stands of pine and aspen were alive with the sounds of birds and the distant rush of glacial streams. Victoria Langford, 28 years old, had arrived the previous day, eager to spend a weekend alone in the backcountry. She was a marketing manager for an outdoor gear company, experienced in hiking and camping, and had come to Glacier to create promotional content for her company's new line of bear safety products. Victoria's confidence in the outdoors was well known among her friends and colleagues. She had completed several solo hikes in the past and often posted about her adventures on social media. Her company encouraged her to document her trips, hoping her photos and videos would inspire others. Victoria planned to hike a remote trail along a salmon-rich stream, film herself demonstrating the bear spray, and capture the park's rugged beauty for her followers. She packed light, carrying her camera, a tripod, and the bear spray, though she kept it in her backpack rather than on her belt, where it would be easily accessible. The park was in the midst of the annual salmon run, a time when grizzly bears descended from the high country to feed along the streams. Rangers had posted warnings at trailheads, reminding hikers to make noise, travel in groups, and keep bear spray accessible at all times. Victoria, hiking alone, was aware of the risks, but trusted her experience and the reliability of her gear. Grizzly bears are among North America's most powerful predators. Adult females can weigh up to 400 pounds, while males can exceed 600. Their muscular bodies, long claws measuring up to 4 inches, and keen sense of smell make them formidable. During the salmon run, grizzlies become especially active and territorial, often defending feeding sites. A grizzly's charge can reach speeds of 30 miles per hour, and their bite force is strong enough to crush bone. Most attacks occur when a bear is surprised at close range or feels its cubs or food source are threatened. Mother bears with cubs are particularly dangerous as their protective instincts override any natural wariness of humans. Defensive attacks typically involve swiping, biting, and focused mauling of the head, neck, and arms, rather than immediately fracturing multiple ribs. On the morning of September 9th, Victoria followed a narrow trail along a stream thick with spawning salmon. The air was filled with the scent of wet earth and fish, and the sound of rushing water masked her footsteps. She paused to film a segment, then continued deeper into the woods, her camera in hand. Around a bend, she spotted a female grizzly with 2 yearling cubs, all focused on the salmon in the water. Victoria stopped, quietly setting up up her tripod to capture the scene. The bear, intent on fishing, was only about 30 feet away. Victoria, hoping for a dramatic shot, moved a few steps closer, camera raised. The grizzly's head lifted, nostrils flaring as she caught Victoria's scent. Her posture changed instantly, ears back, head low, and a deep huff breaking the quiet. The cubs scrambled up the bank behind their mother, sensing danger. Without warning, the grizzly charged. In less than 2 seconds, the 400-pound bear closed the distance, her powerful legs propelling her across the uneven ground with terrifying speed. Victoria had no time to reach for her bear spray buried deep in her backpack. The bear struck with her front paws, knocking Victoria to the ground with tremendous force. The impact caused blunt force injuries, while the grizzly's claws and teeth raked and tore through clothing and flesh in a chaotic, violent maul. She swiped repeatedly, focusing on Victoria's head, neck, and arms, as well as delivering intermittent bites to her shoulder and chest. The trauma caused massive bleeding and rapidly induced shock. While some rib fractures may have occurred during the struggle, the primary mechanism of fatality was the combination of deep lacerations, blunt force trauma, and blood loss. Victoria quickly lost consciousness, and death followed shortly after, as her body was overwhelmed by the cumulative injuries. Blood pooled on the forest floor as the bear paused briefly between blows before retreating to her cubs, who watched from the safety of the trees. Rangers responding to an emergency call from another hiker found Victoria's body later that morning. The area was immediately closed off, and wildlife officials began a thorough investigation. The grizzly and her cubs were not relocated or destroyed, as the attack was determined to be defensive behavior triggered by a perceived threat to the cubs and food source. Victoria Langford's story was a sobering lesson in how quickly the wild can turn. For Faith Aldridge, it wasn't Montana's forests beckoning, but South Australia's waters, where the ocean's most powerful hunters patrol the deep. It was July 14, 2017, when the southern ocean waters around a remote section of the Neptune Islands churned under a cool Australian winter sun. The rugged outcrops jutted sharply from the sea, forming natural channels where great white sharks patrolled. Water temperature hovered at 61 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind whipped across the surface, carrying the sharp tang of salt and fish. Unlike the regulated cage diving operations familiar to tourists, this was a privately run, off-the-books adventure marketed as extreme close encounters. Safety standards were inconsistent and oversight minimal. Faith Aldridge, 26, had traveled from Adelaide with a mixture of excitement and ambition. A thrill-seeker at heart, she had previously participated in a few cage dives and was determined to capture unprecedented footage of the predator for her social media following. Her friends had repeatedly warned her to respect safety protocols, but Faith's desire for viral content outweighed caution. The expedition was technically illegal. The cage was poorly maintained, doors were unlocked, and crew supervision was minimal once divers entered the water. Faith carried underwater cameras and minimal diving equipment, confident in her experience and physical ability. The morning began with a brief orientation. The crew, understaffed and largely inattentive, reminded divers to stay inside the cage. Some equipment was checked, but critical procedures, locking doors, monitoring divers, and ensuring chum distribution safety were unevenly applied. Faith listened, nodding, already imagining shots of massive sharks circling the cage. Great white sharks are apex predators. Adults can reach 20 feet in length and weigh over 5,000 pounds. Their rows of serrated teeth, immense bite force, and ability to accelerate through water at over 25 miles per hour make them lethal to humans. Typically, they are cautious investigators rather than frenzy feeders, often testing unfamiliar objects with exploratory bites before retreating. During encounters with humans, initial strikes can cause catastrophic injuries, though sustained feeding frenzies are extremely rare. By early afternoon, the cage was lowered, and Faith entered the water with her cameras. The crew began dispersing fish oil to attract sharks. Within minutes, several great whites appeared, large dorsal fins slicing the water as the predators circled cautiously. Faith watched, enthralled, but the cage, ill-maintained and loosely secured, offered little real protection. The crew's attention wandered, and the door latch, designed to be secured at all times, remained only partially fastened. Seizing the opportunity, Faith slipped out of the cage. She swam roughly 10 feet away, placing herself between the baited water and a 16-foot great white that had been observing from a short distance. The predator detected her immediately. The splashing of her movements, combined with the scent of chum, triggered the shark's investigative instincts. Faith raised her camera, framing the perfect shot, unaware that her gestures mimicked prey behavior. The attack was swift and brutal. The shark's jaws clamped onto her torso, tearing through muscle and soft tissue in powerful exploratory bites. Its thrashing shook her violently, tossing her through the water and repeatedly raking her with serrated teeth. The shark released and re-engaged intermittently, testing the unusual prey as it would in a natural investigatory sequence. Blood clouded the surrounding water almost immediately, attracting the attention of other sharks circling nearby. Shock, blood loss, and repeated submersion overwhelmed Faith in seconds. Drowning compounded the catastrophic injuries, and she lost consciousness almost immediately. Death was rapid, caused by the combination of exsanguination, blunt force trauma, and drowning. The crew, finally noticing the commotion, pulled Faith from the water and attempted emergency resuscitation, but the injuries were unsurvivable. Authorities were contacted, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. Marine officials later confirmed the operation's illegal status and negligent safety practices. The shark involved was not euthanized, consistent with local protocols for natural predator interactions, and any footage of the incident was withheld from the public out of respect for Faith's family and later destroyed. Faith Aldridge's story served as a stark reminder of the lethal potential of apex predators and how human negligence can turn even controlled environments into death traps. For Erica Winslow, it wasn't the ocean calling, but Tanzania's forests, where humanity's closest relatives reveal their darker nature. It was November 18, 2018, when the dense forests of a remote research site in western Tanzania echoed with the calls of chimpanzees and the rustle of leaves in the canopy above. The area, known for decades as a hub for primate studies, stretched along the shores of Lake Tanganyika, providing ideal habitat for a large population of wild chimpanzees. The temperature had reached 83 degrees Fahrenheit, with high humidity typical of the region. Erica Winslow, 23 years old, had arrived 6 months earlier as part of her PhD research in primatology. But beyond her academic work, Erica had also built a name for herself on TikTok, where she shared short-form videos documenting her life in the field. Her content blended education with close-up wildlife encounters, attracting a growing audience fascinated by chimpanzee behavior. Her professors praised her dedication, but her field supervisors had grown concerned about the way she framed the animals, not just in her research notes, but in her videos. She often spoke about the chimpanzees in familiar, almost human terms, presenting tense dominance displays as emotional misunderstandings rather than territorial aggression. The research station operated under strict protocols developed over decades of study. Researchers were required to maintain a minimum distance of 15 feet at all times, avoid direct eye contact, and never display facial expressions that could be interpreted as threats. Erica had received extensive training on these rules, but her field notes revealed a pattern of gradually pushing boundaries in her eagerness to capture more immersive footage. While her academic research focused on territorial disputes between neighboring chimpanzee communities, her online audience responded most strongly to moments that felt intimate, close angles, dramatic encounters, raw tension. Over time, the line between researcher and content creator began to blur. Chimpanzees are humanity's closest living relatives, sharing over 98% of our DNA, but they possess physical capabilities that exceed human strength. Adult males can weigh up to 150 pounds, with a pound-for-pound strength advantage estimated at 1.3 to 1.5 times that of a human of similar size. Their powerful arms can exert tremendous force, while their large canine teeth can inflict serious injuries. Chimpanzees live in complex social hierarchies where dominance is established through displays of aggression and violence. During territorial conflicts, they become extremely aggressive, viewing any unfamiliar presence as a potential threat. Attacks typically occur in bursts bursts, focusing on extremities, the face, and hands, rather than sustained maulings intended to kill outright. Male chimpanzees are particularly dangerous during feeding competitions, when their territorial instincts are heightened. On the morning of November 18th, Erica followed a group of 8 chimpanzees to a fig tree heavy with ripe fruit. The location was disputed territory between 2 communities, and tension was evident in the animals' behavior. The alpha male, a large chimpanzee, positioned himself prominently near the base of the tree, while other males spread out to guard the feeding site. As the morning progressed, a rival group approached from the east, creating a standoff between the 2 communities. The tension escalated rapidly, with both groups engaging in aggressive displays, screaming, branch shaking, and charging. Erica, excited by the rare opportunity to observe intergroup conflict, moved closer to capture better footage. She positioned herself within 10 feet of the alpha male, violating safety protocols. When he turned toward her, Erica made the fatal mistake of smiling and making direct eye contact. In chimpanzee communication, bared teeth can represent an aggressive threat display, while direct eye contact is interpreted as a dominance challenge. The alpha male responded immediately. He launched at Erica with explosive speed, his powerful arms propelling him across the short distance in under 2 seconds. The initial impact knocked her to the ground, fracturing her left arm. 2 other males joined, interpreting her presence as a threat during the territorial dispute. The chimps focused their assault on her extremities, arms, and face. The alpha male latched onto her shoulder, delivering repeated bites as the other males struck in rapid bursts. The attack unfolded in brief, violent intervals rather than one continuous mauling. The chimpanzees lunged, retreated, and surged forward again, each burst compounding the damage. Erica sustained severe trauma to her scalp, arms, and torso, with her hands and arms sustaining catastrophic injuries as she attempted to shield herself. Blood loss was immediate and severe. Combined with blunt force trauma, her body went into shock. Within minutes, she lost consciousness, succumbing to catastrophic hemorrhage and traumatic injuries before her research team could reach her. The research station immediately contacted government authorities and suspended all field activities pending investigation. Officials later determined that established safety protocols had been violated and concluded that the chimpanzee's actions were consistent with defensive territorial behavior. The animals were not relocated or destroyed. Thanks for watching. Want to see more? Click on your screen now.